failed globalist policies that are destroying
So
this.
you and I and our audience are basically Paul Revere's trying to help Trump not be infiltrated because of the fact that there are these political operatives out there.
Look, Donald Trump's a very smart guy, and he knows that Karl Rove is not his friend. But he's out campaigning every day. He's counting on his campaign apparatus to do everything legal to ensure that they raise as much money as they can. Super PAC world is a different place, and there are hucksters in the market like Rollins and his silent partner, Jesse Benton, the convicted felon who destroyed Paul's campaign and then Rand Paul's campaign. But I wouldn't put $1 there. If you really want to help Trump, then I would say either give directly to the Trump campaign, give to the Victory Fund of the Republican National Committee, or look at these other super PACs and determine which one has low overhead, competent people who know what they're doing.
Sure, because Hillary's going to be getting the big Goldman Sachs money and everything. It's up to the grassroots to be able to do this because Trump is such a grassroots organization. It's taken no money so far. Now it's starting to, because it's like saying you're going to go to space without oxygen. He's got to have the oxygen tanks, folks. It's got to happen if people are serious about winning. But Benedict Lewandowski, Corey Lewandowski, or is it Arnold Lewandowski? All I know is, what's his name again? I don't have a dog in the fight.
I think you're referring to Louis Korendowski. And anyway, Louis said again on Fox this weekend that he was in charge of vetting the vice presidential candidates. Nobody active in the campaign tells me that is the case. I do know A.B. Culverhouse, very able lawyer, worked for Ronald Reagan, who has been brought in to work on this process. But let me get to the bottom line. My confidence is in Trump. I know that the establishment Republicans are pushing Corker, and others may be pushing Newt Gingrich. And,
let's talk. We're talking VP now. Let's get into that.
Exactly. I'm putting my entire confidence in Trump. He knows, above all, that whoever he selects must be somebody who is at one with him on the major issues facing the country. And therefore, the chance of him taking someone out of the establishment, someone who would make Trump an assassination target for some who would, or others who would seek to enter his administration in order to co-opt it, Trump is way too smart for that. He will pick somebody who is a nationalist and entirely loyal to the president. So I'm not worried about some of the names I hear. My friends in the Liberty Movement and in the Republican Party email me every day. They say, oh, God.
Sure, well, let me throw out a couple here.
Please not Gingrich. Please not this one. Please not that one.
What about a Senator Sessions?
I like Jeff Sessions. I've known Jeff Sessions since he was in the Alabama Young Republicans and I was running for Young Republican National Chairman. He is a fine individual. He's an excellent lawyer. He was a great judge. He would be a great vice president. And he was the first man in the Congress to endorse Donald Trump. And I hope that Sessions is on the list. There are other fine people. I like Shelley Moore Capito, the U.S. Senator from West Virginia. Tough, experienced, not a globalist. I like General Mike Flynn as an outside-the-box possibility. All I know is that only Donald Trump knows what the real short list is. That those in the Liberty
Yes,
field,
Roger, we know you don't know the short list.
No. Look, I think the short list is probably, knowing Trump as I do, I think the short list is probably changing. I think he is holding this very much to himself. I think he floats certain names to others.
Well, I've watched the body language and everything else, and I can tell you right now, just watching television when he's around Sessions, the way Trump acts, he really likes Sessions. And I think Sessions is a good choice.
I think they have a great chemistry. But look, again, Trump is going to make this decision. He's going to make it with some fanfare and with some buildup because he realizes better than anyone else that this is a great news story and it's going to generate great attention. And I suspect people are going to drop on and off the list. I doubt that he's made a final decision. I don't think he knows who he wants today. I'm sure he's leaning one way or another.
Sure.
But anytime
bottom line, I want to go to a few phone calls. You're going to be in with us for an hour and a half live in studio Friday. Really gracious for you to come to the town. But before we go any further, just briefly, because folks are listening, what is the best PAC that it's actually promoting Trump and the Constitution and where the money actually gets there for folks in your view?
I have given a contribution to the Committee for American Sovereignty, and you can find them online. They have put together a list of retired military officers, including General McInerney, a former executive with the Trump Organization, Nick Ribis, longtime president of the Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts, former Congressman William Hendon, a number of state legislators. It is a very august. Phyllis Schlafly is on the committee, for example. There it is. These are fine folks. I am not working for them.
I understand. You're simply trying to get Trump into office under your First Amendment.
But I know that they will not steal the money, and I know they will use the money either to register new Trump voters or to fend off the attacks of Hillary Clinton.
And what's the website for that?
It is the Committee for American Sovereignty.com, I believe.
Yeah, man, we'll check it and put it on screen. It's on screen there, folks. There you go, because there's so many groups out there that you've said were a fraud, and then people get indicted. I mean, you really are giving us accurate information here. We're going to skip this network break because this is so important. I want to be able to take calls before you've got to leave us. But just watching today, the story's up on Infowars.com. Trump whips press over charitable donations to vets. That's a good headline, but I'd say blast. I mean, he just blast them. Don Salazar turned out this article quickly. I will say that the press should be ashamed of themselves. I couldn't pull myself away from this press conference. I'm going to play some clips coming up at the bottom of the hour. I've got some guests popping in. But, man, just trying to even get money to vets, they attack him. They just can't let him look like he's doing anything good. It's so sick when these are the people that say nothing about the don't treat list that we know our military's been under for 6 years with Obama. Obama is killing the vets. These people cover up for it, cover up for Hillary and her Brian Williams stories about sniper fire, but then they go after Donald Trump. I mean, what a sick, filthy group of people.
Well, Hillary Clinton said very recently that the problems in our VA hospital system are not widespread. What planet is this woman living on? In Arizona alone, where the ranking Republican on the Veteran Affairs Committee, Senator John McCain, lives, over 600 people died waiting for medical care in the VA.
Joe Biggs has been blown up in armored vehicles repeatedly, shrapnel shot, you name it. He coughs up blood all over the place. He's got all these medical issues. He's been there 30-something times, and they just each time say, come back, come back, come back, till he gave up.
One of my cousins, 2 terms in Vietnam, Purple Heart winner, is told that he makes too much out of his meager retirement, and therefore he's not eligible for treatment.
Yeah, that's the new thing. That's the new thing. It's just insane.
So it's means testing for veterans, but not for welfare recipients.
I was reading in the Hill newspaper last week, the average illegal gets $17,000+ in welfare. The quote, migrants get even more than an actual Social Security recipient that's paid into it as a citizen. Who is running this country?
Well, I think that's all going to change under a President Trump. Let's go to your questions, because I love this part of the...
Absolutely. We're going to go to phone calls right now. We're going to go to, in fact, you did that great Reddit thing that was so popular. We're going to do more of those. I'm going to do one later this week. Let's go ahead and... Will you guys pull that screen down? I can't read there. Sorry. I can't see the callers there on screen. Again, we're talking to Roger Stone right now. I'm Alex Jones. Infowars.com is my website. StoneZone.com is his website. Let's go ahead and take a call from Rob in Canada. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Roger. Question for you. What are your thoughts on these continual rumors, by Bill Kristol and the neocons to bring some third-party candidate in to, just kind of...
Well, they say they're doing it. They say they're preparing it. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a bit of a misnomer. First of all, it's recognized that there's probably no third-party nomination available to a new candidate.
Can't get on the ballot.
The Libertarians nominated their ticket this weekend, my friend Governor Gary Johnson and Governor Bill Weld. And the Greens are not going to nominate somebody copacetic to Bill Kristol. So what Bill Kristol's really talking about is an independent third candidacy. The requirements in most states are actually even more rigorous in terms of valid signatures.
Sure. So, I mean, we know it's a fraud. So what's the point of it?
I don't really understand. Look, I like Bill Kristol. We disagree on everything. He is a dastardly neocon but he's charming company. He voted, he was a supporter of Hubert Humphrey. He's not my political cup of tea, but he's a fine fellow. This is folly. I don't know what this is about.
Sure. Well, you're being a gentleman. Let's get back to Johnson, who's been a guest probably 20 times here. A good governor. I like him overall. Didn't you run his campaign once?
I worked very closely with him.
Okay. So, but I mean, let's be honest. He's saying something about Trump that isn't true. He's acting nasty, and he's trying to spoil this thing, get the libertarians to hand this to Hillary. So let's take the gloves off on Mr. Johnson.
The truth of the matter is that if Bill Weld and Gary Johnson run the right campaign for them, which is to be fiscally conservative and conservative on defense, but to be socially liberal on marijuana and civil liberties, they will, just as Johnson did 4 years ago, take pretty evenly from Hillary Clinton and
Good.
Donald Trump. So don't buy this whole...
Sure, but he's kind of running on a Trump-bashing platform.
Well, I have seen Gary's comments. I don't think that that's productive, but I also can't presume to tell him how to run his
He's going to destroy himself with the real libertarian movement if he does that. I think you should watch it. Let's take another call. Al in New Jersey, you're on the air. Go ahead with Roger Stone.
Hey, Alex and Raj, you guys doing a great job. Listen, a very quick suggestion. Why don't we bring up with Lord Monckton and Donald Trump a discussion on a global warming so we could smack Bernie's face and Hillary's because they be trying to slide out.
Trump should hammer turning our power plants on and how they're sabotaging America and how China opens 3 a week. We shut down 3 a week. I think he's hit that some, but I think that's a key for him to hammer. Roger?
I don't necessarily disagree, but in all honesty, climate change is one of those issues the left tries to use to disqualify Trump. And based on the polling that I have seen, it is not one of the driving issues of this election. Our economy is a driving issue. Immigration.
Borders, guns.
Right. Immigration is a driving issue. Our foreign policy is a driving issue. And our trade policy and its connection to jobs is a driving issue. I think Trump can hold his own on the climate change issue. But frankly, I want to look for areas where we have commonality with Bernie right now, rather than
I get it. We want to get Bernie, folks, once he drops out.
We need a third. We need a third of those votes for Donald Trump to win.
All right, I want to take a few more calls here. You've got to go in a moment, but we've seen him as he takes the gloves off and really goes with your book and your research on the raping and the rest of it and the deaths. Vince Foster. That's when he starts surging in polls. So hopefully he's a smart guy. I know he is. He's getting the advice from you and others to get even more hardcore.
Well, look, he's a brawler. He's a fighter. Nobody's putting words in his mouth. He has a broad cross-section of advisors in the sense that he consults many, many friends, and he's always asking for people's opinions. But at the end of the day, I hate to steal a phrase from George W. Bush, but Trump is the decider. And what you see is what you get. The fact that he's not a confection, that he's not a phony, that he's not politically correct.
Sure, that's what folks see. Real quick, Robert in Michigan, you're on the air with Roger Stone.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Mr. Stone. How you doing?
Good. Go ahead, Robert.
That's good. Real quick, this question, Mr. Stone, regarding Mr. Trump's agenda. As far as, in my opinion, I think, in order for him to win, if he can take away some of the African-American votes from Hillary, because 90% of African-Americans, for some reason, are wholehearted to the Democratic Party, regardless how egregious they are. But if he can get like 20% out of that base, I think he'll have a smooth victory to.
I agree. Shouldn't he go all in for the African-American vote?
Absolutely. There's no question. First of all, the Clintons have done nothing for the African-American community. The reason so many young African-American men are incarcerated today for possession of small amounts of drugs is because of the policies of Bill Clinton.
And then she decries it, acting like he didn't do it.
Right. But she called black people super predators, and she said they needed to be brought to heel. Bill Clinton told Ted Kennedy of Barack Obama a few years ago, this boy would be getting us coffee. This is the dog whistle politics of the Clintons, who ride with the hounds when it suits them. They are no friends of the
African. Let's just say it. The Clintons are what I'm ashamed of in the South. I mean, Bill Clinton, she's not a Southerner, but Bill Clinton's a nasty Dixie Mafia, Klansman type. And, of course, her mentor is Robert Byrd, the Grand Dragon. These are filthy people. Roger, I know you got to go, but we'll come back for 2 minutes and 70 seconds. When we come back in the third hour, just finish up a few things with Roger Stone. That's a great point, Robert. I'm going to give you a comeback. So stay there. I want to have you pop back in with Stone on the other side. 70 seconds out. All right. few more minutes with Roger Stone. Then we've got